chicken pocket pies. It's my riff off chicken pot pie, and who doesn't love chicken pot pie? Everyone loves it. What I love about this recipe is the convenience, because I'm making them into a little pocket hand pie. Now I'm sitting here sauteing away onions, celery, and carrot. And it's the thing I start so many dishes with. It's a classic combination in many cuisines. It just brings an incredible combination of flavor, and that's what I have cooking here with 2 tablespoons of butter. So 2 tablespoons of flour, just kind of shake around here. This is going to begin our thickening because we want that pot pie filling since we're putting it in a pocket. Salt, about 1/2 teaspoon, and some pepper. So I'm just going to cook this around here. Basically what's happening with this is we just want to toast the flour a little bit just to get some of the raw flavor off of it. And the way this dish came about was one of my kids came home one day, as is often the case, after they'd eaten at a friend's house. And they say to me, I really want you to buy those frozen pies that are in the supermarket. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And when I went and started to discover what they were, there was about 4 of them in a package. He could eat them in one sitting. They were really expensive, and I didn't understand what half the ingredients were on the back of the package. So I have 1.5 cups of chicken broth that I'm adding here just to begin to thicken it up a little bit. And this is going to combine with the flour and the butter and make that really, really, really yummy, creamy sauce that binds it all together. Anyway, I made up these pocket pies and I froze them. And I suddenly realized that it was doing the same convenience. They were really onto something, but I made them homemade. And you've got that convenience idea going, but you know you're giving fresh food to your family, which is really super important to me. So you can see that this is starting to thicken up a little bit, look a little bit like the sauce that you find pooling out of your chicken pot pie. So I'm going to add the chicken. For this amount, I would add about 1 cup of shredded chicken, give or take, it doesn't matter. If you had turkey, you could use that. And you could also, pretty much think about a filling for these pocket pies any way you want. Stir it around a little bit. And then some Parmesan cheese. Little Parmesan cheese will give you some zip. It's, doesn't really taste too cheesy. But if you mix it all up, then you end up with a great filling. Taste it, make sure it's salty enough. So yum. All right, this is pretty much cooked. Now at this point, you need to chill it. So you could throw it into a container, put it in the fridge, and go off and do your laundry or whatever else you're going to do. By the time it's done, you can come back and we can make these pot pies. All right. Now, I know a lot of you are pastry phobic, and this dough I'm going to show you today, you'll see anybody can make. But first of all, this is what this looks like when it's chilled. And basically, it's perfect for making the pocket pies. Here is my favorite dough recipe. It's a cream cheese pastry, and it's in my Mad Hungry cookbook. It's online. I'm not going to make it today because I want to show you how to make this filling. So if you're scared and every time you've made dough, it begins to fall apart on you, then this is the dough for you to try. So look at this. I mean, it's really hard to ruin. This is the first pie dough I learned. When I discovered this recipe, it was really a revelation to me that I could actually make it. Now look, this isn't even falling apart. Okay. I just take any old random thing I have in the house to use as a guide and go like this. If you're having trouble, you can use a little knife to go around the side of it and get as many as you can out of your dough. And this is also a dough that isn't so crazy to re-roll. So I'll probably end up getting about 5 out of here when I re-roll it. Bring them up. This is a point in time where you could really engage somebody to help you. This dough is actually very forgiving. Those little hands, how many times you have kids around, they want to get their hands in the dough, and this is actually a dough that would be nice for them to work with. Put the filling on one side, not too much of the filling. It smells great. And then one little trick, which isn't such a big trick, but if you think about sealing your dough together, then use a little bit of water to go around one edge carefully. Okay, we are ready to go. I can guarantee you that if one of my kids was in the kitchen with me helping, that they would have much more giant pocket pies than I make. But that's just the way it is with guys, I guess. They want more. I'd rather eat 2 or 3 of these instead. Okay, so this one, not so great. The filling's coming out the edge. And then put a little flour on your fork and then just seal it. I have heard from many of my friends who make this that it's a huge hit in their home. And then just get it on your baking sheet and poke it so that the steam can release. And the other thing you're going to have to do is put an egg wash on it. But at this point in time, when I get all of these made, this goes in the freezer. And then once they're frozen and they're hard, you can collect them all in a resealable bag and you are good to go when you want to bake it. Now the egg wash, you can make so many ways. A lot of people just use egg yolk. I like to just use the whole egg and a little bit of water, about a tablespoon of water, and then just use your fork and give it a good mix up. I have been preheating the oven to 375 degrees. And then have a brush. If you have a pastry brush at home, it's really helpful. I can tell you there's tons of times I've been making this, I had no pastry brush, and I just used my fingers and rubbed it on. And don't do too much. You don't want to pool it. You don't want, the egg to pool in the edges. Just enough to give it a nice shine. It's pretty much just makes it look really great. And it's not hard. That's what I'm trying to show you here. A little bit of strategy, and you too can pull it off. So these go into the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. You'll have fresh baked chicken pocket pies that you can eat right away, or you can let them cool and put them in the freezer. The chicken pocket pies, they're baked, they're cooling. They could cool completely. I'll put this in the freezer. Once they're firm, I'll stick them in a resealable bag and those will be ready to go. That's fast food, but it's fresh made. And it's like a handheld chicken pot pie. These are great for a lunchbox because they're actually good at room temperature too. I love the crust. That cheesy crust is so good.